Okay, so let's begin to talk about how all of these pieces are going to fit together. Now the first thing is, and I got this from Gary Cruz, who's got a lot of great YouTube videos out there, and he actually on his rig, he put this patch panel on the back from REDCO Audio, and I'm so glad I saw his example of this because I ordered one that was very similar to what he did. Now you might say, why do you need a patch bay? Why can't you just plug stuff into your gear? Well, there's two primary reasons. One of them is just for ease. You have all of your inputs and outputs all in one place. And this covers everything from HDMI, the inputs, SDI, our program and multi-view outs, our audio, even our Ethernet and USB, all can come in through this. This way, if you want to update your software, for example, on your different devices, you can just come here, you can plug in your computer to this USB port, and all of a sudden you're connected to all the devices that are in here. It just makes things easier rather than trying to plug and unplug everything in the back. The other thing is it keeps you from wearing on your devices by continually plugging and unplugging on those. This way you do it to the patch panel, and let's be honest, the patch panel, I believe this one cost me a little under $200. That's a lot cheaper than the gear we have in here. So this is going to be helpful for you if you want to actually be able to quickly get to all of your inputs and outputs. So that's one component here. This is a bit of a hodgepodge of connecting things together. A couple other things. I have here an ULTRASTUDIO mini recorder. Now this allows me to do an HDMI or an SDI in and then go from there Thunderbolt into my computer. This way, if you're going to do live streaming, for example, and you want to be able to capture one of your outputs, like your program output coming out of the patch panel, you can use this to go into your computer, and then from your computer, you can use to live stream it out to YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So we've got one of these included as well. Another thing, we actually are converting HDMI to SDI. So we have a couple of these converters as well. I just wanted to have a few of these around. I actually don't believe I have this in the signal path currently for what I'm going to be doing, but I wanted to have a few of these. So we have those as well. Which brings me next to the Decimator, and I actually have two of these. So one of the things you'll notice is that we're wanting to use the aux output coming out of the ATEM switcher to actually power this TV that's behind me. That's a 4K TV, although we're not going to be pushing 4K to it. But the Decimator allows us to seamlessly convert stuff coming in this case through either SDI or HDMI, and then convert it and then have it go out the other way. Now, one of the reasons this is really important, and this is something that you need to understand in terms of the ATEM switcher. The ATEM switcher does an awesome job at what it does, but it expects everything that's coming in to be at the exact same resolution and frame rate. So if you're trying to do, let's say you're trying to do 1080 and you're trying to do it at 2997, in those cases, everything that's coming in needs to be that. If not, what's going to happen is it's not going to pick up on some of those. Some of those video feeds it won't show anything. And so if we're looking at wanting to get different things coming in, we're going to need to use something like the Decimator to be sure we're getting the right frame rate and the right resolution coming out of it. The same thing, my TV, for example, that I'm going to be using doesn't have an SDI input, right? Most of them don't, unless you're getting professional level displays. And so in that case, what I'm going to be doing is I'll take the aux that's coming out in SDI, and then I'll actually be converting that over to HDMI through a Decimator. The Decimators are just really good, useful tools to be able to cross-convert from most anything to most anything else. So I've actually grabbed two of those for this particular setup. And we have the Decimator itself, we have the power supply, which is also extremely bright red. And it also, just like with with some of our things that we've unboxed here, it's actually got the different plugs for the different locales. So generally, wherever you're living, that should be fine for you. This also comes with a USB plug, so that I'm sure we have the ability to do some updating here of the software. We also have an HDMI cable that comes with it. And then what looks like some sort of a mounting bracket. I'm actually not entirely sure what that is yet, but I'll read in and take a look and figure that out. But we have two Decimators. Now, with all of this together, with the patch panel, with our converters, with the Decimator, we really start to get to all the different components that we're going to need. We've built out the rack. We've got these components. I'm going to install the patch panel, start putting cables in. We'll do one episode where I'll actually show you how I'm hooking everything together, and we'll look at the original diagram that I built out so you'll understand what we're going to be doing here with this and how everything's going to be hooked together. And so once we get all of that in place, I'll go through and we'll update all the firmware on all the devices, and we'll be ready to start testing a lot of this out. So thanks for joining us here on One Man Video.